Same medical issue. Same type of doctor visit. 2 different countries. In America, $340. In New Zealand, $18. For the exact same visit. But here's what nobody is telling you about why this happens. And by the end of this video, you're going to question everything you've been told about American healthcare. Picture this. You wake up at 3 in the morning with severe chest pain. Not a heart attack, but concerning enough that you should see a doctor. In the United States, before you even think about calling for help, you're doing math in your head. Can I afford this? What's my deductible again? Maybe it'll go away. In 2025, 38% of Americans, that's 4 out of every 10 people, skipped or delayed medical care because they literally could not afford it. Not didn't want to, couldn't. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. So I decided to run an experiment. Same symptoms, same severity. 2 countries. Here's what I found. United States, walk-in clinic consultation, $340. That's without insurance. With insurance, you're still paying $80 to $150 in copays. New Zealand, GP consultation, $18. No insurance required. Same quality of care. Same type of doctor. Now, before you think, oh, New Zealand must have terrible healthcare, let me hit you with something that'll blow your mind. The United States spends $13,432 per person on healthcare every single year. That's the highest in the entire world by far. New Zealand, $7,393. That's almost half. But wait, surely Americans are getting better outcomes for all that extra money, right? Wrong. New Zealanders live longer than Americans. Their life expectancy is 82 years versus America's 76.4 years. Let me say that again. We're paying double to die 6 years younger. Make that make sense? Now here's where it gets absolutely wild. And I need you to really let this sink in. 100 million Americans, that's nearly 1 in 3 people, are currently drowning in medical debt. The total? $220 billion. Americans borrowed $74 billion just last year to pay for medical bills. Billion. With a B. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, medical bankruptcy basically doesn't exist. It's not even in their vocabulary. People don't lose their homes because they got cancer. So what's the actual difference? Why does the same doctor visit cost 19 times more in America? Buckle up. All right, here's what's actually happening. And this is the part that's going to make you angry. Reason number 1, the insurance middleman tax. In the US, you don't just pay the doctor. Your money goes through the insurance company, taking their 30% profit margin, the billing department, coding specialists charging hundreds per hour, the collections agency. If you can't pay the legal team, for disputes, the pharmacy benefit manager, another middleman taking a cut. That's 5 different hands in the cookie jar before your doctor sees a dime. New Zealand? The government pays the doctor directly. No middleman. No profit motive. It's that simple. Reason number 2. Drug prices are legalized robbery. The US government, unlike every other developed country, doesn't negotiate drug prices. Pharmaceutical companies charge whatever they want. Example. A common cholesterol medication costs $7.78 per pill in America. In New Zealand, $2.21. Same pill. Same manufacturer. Same active ingredient. The United States pays 3 to 4 times more for prescription drugs than other developed countries. And here's the part that'll really tick you off. Many of these drugs were developed using US taxpayer money through government research grants. We paid to develop them. Then pharmaceutical companies turn around and charge US citizens 300% more than they charge other countries. Reason number 3, the free market fantasy. Americans are told healthcare is expensive because of market forces and competition. But here's the brutal truth. You can't shop around when you're having a heart attack. You can't negotiate when your kid is having an asthma attack. You can't choose not to buy when you have cancer. Healthcare isn't a normal market. You can't just walk away if you don't like the price. You pay or you die. New Zealand figured this out decades ago. The government sets maximum prices. Doctors still make excellent money, over $100,000 a year. Hospitals still function. But prices stay reasonable because there's no price gouging allowed. But it gets even more ridiculous when we talk about prescriptions. In New Zealand, most prescriptions cost $5. That's it. $5. Some medications are completely free. In America, those same prescriptions cost. Insulin. Still $200 to $400 per month for millions of uninsured Americans, even after recent reforms. Asthma inhalers. $250 to $350. Common antibiotics. $50 to $100. EpiPens. $600 for a 2-pack. Now here's what makes this absolutely criminal. Many of these drugs were invented with US taxpayer money through NIH grants and university research that we funded. The American people paid to develop them. Then pharmaceutical companies patent them, mark them up 1,000%, and charge us more than any other country on earth. How is this legal? Because in America, pharmaceutical companies spent $374 million lobbying Congress in 2024 alone. That's more than any other industry. They own the system. Now, I know what you're thinking. But doesn't New Zealand have terrible wait times? Isn't the care worse? Don't people die waiting? Let me break down the actual reality. For emergency care, heart attacks, strokes, car accidents, appendicitis, wait times in New Zealand are comparable to the US. You get treated immediately. Nobody's dying in the waiting room. For non-emergency procedures, like knee replacements, cataract surgery, or elective procedures, yes, there can be waits of a few months. But here's the reality nobody talks about. In America, 27% of people with insurance delayed medical care in 2024 because of cost. That's not a wait time. That's just not getting care at all because you can't afford it. And let's be honest, New Zealand's system isn't perfect. They're dealing with doctor shortages in 2025. Wait times for specialists have increased. The system is under strain. But here's the difference. You wait in line, but you don't go bankrupt. You might wait 3 months for a knee surgery, but you won't lose your house. So which is worse? Waiting a few months for a scheduled procedure in New Zealand, or avoiding the doctor entirely in America until your condition becomes life-threatening because you can't afford the bills? I'll let you decide. So how does New Zealand's system actually work? Because this is important. Step 1. The government allocates about 9% of GDP to healthcare. That's it, 9%. Step 2. Everyone pays into it through taxes, just like Social Security. If you earn more, you pay more. If you earn less, you pay less. But everyone's covered. Step 3. Citizens and residents get free or heavily subsidized care. Now, important note. If you're a tourist visiting New Zealand, you don't automatically get the subsidized price. That $18 doctor visit is what a New Zealand resident pays. Tourists pay more, around $70 to $90. Still way less than America, but the deep subsidy is for people who live there and pay taxes. Step 4. Hospitals and doctors are paid standard rates by the government. No surprise bills. No out-of-network charges. No balance billing nonsense. Step 5. Drug prices are negotiated nationally by a government agency called Pharmac. They say, this is what we'll pay, and pharmaceutical companies can either take it or leave the New Zealand market. Guess what? They always take it. Meanwhile, the United States spends 16.6% of GDP on healthcare. That's double the percentage of New Zealand. But 27 million Americans still have zero health insurance. We're spending more to cover fewer people with worse outcomes. It's literally the worst deal in the history of deals. Let me give you a real-world example of what this means. A type 1 diabetic in New Zealand pays about $5 per month for insulin. In America, even with recent price caps for people on Medicare, millions of uninsured Americans, or those with high deductible plans, still face list prices of $300 to $400 per month. That's $3,600 to $4,800 per year just to stay alive. That's a used car. That's a semester of community college. That's rent in some cities. I talked to an American woman with diabetes who told me she rations her insulin, takes less than prescribed, because she can't afford the full dose. She knows it's dangerous, but she has to choose between insulin and groceries. In New Zealand, that doesn't happen. Ever. This isn't about politics. This isn't about left versus right. This is about math. and basic human decency. One country decided that access to healthcare is a human right. The other decided it's a business opportunity. So that $340 doctor visit versus $18? It's not because American doctors are better. They're not. It's not because New Zealand is socialist. It's not. It's not because Americans are getting higher quality care. We're not. It's because one country decided healthcare should be affordable, and the other country designed a system to extract maximum profit from sick people. The United States is the only developed country in the world without universal healthcare. Not one of the few. The only one. 32 out of 33 developed countries figured this out. Universal healthcare works in New Zealand. It works in the UK. It works in Germany. It works in Canada. It works in Australia. It works in Japan. It works in South Korea. The question isn't, can it work in America? The question is, why are we the only ones who refuse to make it work? Think about that the next time you skip a doctor's visit because you can't afford it. Or the next time someone tells you universal healthcare doesn't work. It works everywhere else. We're just choosing not to do it. If this shocked you, you need to see what I discovered about how pharmaceutical companies legally block generic drugs to maintain their monopolies. That video drops next week. It'll make your blood boil. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And drop a comment right now. What's the most you've ever paid for a doctor visit or medical bill? Let's compare horror stories. I'll see you in the next one.